angle of attack today, just hoping that if the sun comes in, it doesn't affect what we're doing. Good, so today, core. Not everyone's favourite area of the body, but it is an important part of us with regards to our emotions and our gut feelings. So having strength here, physical strength, is really a cool thing to have actually, because it supports you. You don't know you're strong until you need that strength. So perhaps when you're emotionally challenged, or you know, we've got those little hiccups along our life paths. We don't always have to have one. This is where your core strength comes into its kind of place. It really helps you through those sticky moments. And so we're going to develop awareness, definitely awareness of this place today, and hopefully a little bit of strength and stamina. Doing, as always, what's right for you. By that I mean, just because I'm doing something here doesn't mean you have to do that on your mat. People that have shared their time with me before know me, and I always offer you a time to rest or a more supportive but perhaps still challenging option to what we might be doing. And a nice guide is to think of whatever you're doing in that moment, is that going to affect or prevent you from doing something the next day? If the answer to that is yes, then you just need to ease back away from it and perhaps go to a more supported place. Brilliant. So let's start lying down. Woohoo! So coming to Shavasana, the usual place, but actually we do semi-supine, that means half lying down. So lying on your back, legs bent, feet flat on the floor. Walk your feet a bit wider so your knees can gently come in and lean against each other. And let's have the hands on the belly. So this is just to bring the mind. You'll notice that as soon as you touch, you can try this little kind of experiment, if you like. Touch your leg, and then you know where you can really be aware of your leg. And if you think about the other leg, without touching it, try and bring your mind to that other leg. And then touch it with your other hand and notice instantly you're aware of that place. So that's what we're doing now with the hands on the tummy. So come back to that position. And all I'm asking you to do here is feel whatever you can feel under your hands as you just lie here and softly breathe in and out. Maybe it's a rise and fall of the tummy. Maybe it's just a really good place for you to be now, and it feels so nice to just lie down and do nothing. So we have big muscle groups on the belly, we have deep muscle groups, sometimes referred to as deep core muscles. And we'll aim to find all of those, but especially the deep core muscles today. Sometimes they're forgotten about in gyms and things. When we just want to define the front of the body here, we can just work with the big muscle group. But we want to think about what's going on underneath that, the real internal support system we're trying to find today. Now, as you continue to breathe in and out, as you exhale, imagine that, it might be a bit spooky, but imagine that a hand was underneath you and it was gently cupping your navel, your belly button, and right at the end of the out-breath, that hand pulls your belly button all the way down to your mat. And because of that, you can feel your lower back really starting to press and flatten into the mat. And as you breathe in, the hand gently releases, so the navel, the belly button starts to rise up again. And as you breathe out, that same hand, maybe you can visualize someone that you love just gently drawing the navel back and down. There's no aggressiveness here, it's just a soft supporting visualization. So keep that going. Inhaling, the navel rises, and exhale. Perhaps just imagine the navel being really heavy first, so it's going to sink towards the floor, and then that hand, that imaginary hand, encourage it to come down a little bit more. Rising as you inhale, falling as you exhale. Feel that kind of action underneath your hands. Just one more of those. And after your next out breath, just come back to being completely relaxed. So your lower back will softly ease from the floor into that neutral position. You'll be aware of the softness under your hands, so coming back to that natural movement of the body under your hands as you inhale and exhale. So we always want to find balance between softness and firmness, if you like, or softness and strength. So when your muscles are relaxed, they're lovely and long and soft. And when you're asking them to support you and become more squeezy, they have to shorten and contract, so they really firm up. So we're bringing both of those to our mind today, both of those actions. Well done. So we're going to separate the knees and heel toe the feet in a little closer. We're going to breathe in, and as we breathe out, again, navel sinks to the floor, that imaginary hand pulls it all the way down to the mat, lower back flattens. So rather than holding your breath just to keep that squeeze, bring your hands now to the rib cage, so the palm of the hands or heel of the hands on the side body, and try and breathe into the space under your hands here while you've still got that squeeze on the navel. So rib cage breathing. So this is where we're going to try and breathe today, so we can maintain that strong contraction in the abdominal area. It's pretty hard to breathe there anyway if you're squeezing strongly, because you've reduced the space that your diaphragm and your lungs can expand into. So good. So keeping that breath in the rib cage, relax your hands and arms, and then bring your legs to tabletop position. If you find instantly that your back started to arch from the floor, bring your knees a bit closer to you rather than together. Okay, so then your hands are going to come to the thighs. Now you're going to, with a little bit of effort here, so it isn't just a fluffy thing, you're going to start to push your hands firmly against your legs, so much so that if you didn't press your legs back into your hands would move away. So pressing the legs into the hands into the legs. Good for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And just pop the feet down. Let your belly relax so your back just sighs away from the mat. Be careful that you're not holding your breath when you do this. So it is a tricky thing to do, but try and keep awareness of your body breathing in and out. Okay. The temptation is, as you squeeze and contract and hold strongly, that you also hold your breath. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the breath flowing. Same thing again. Pressing, breathing in and breathing out as you press. Keep the breath moving into the ribs, breathing in and out. Notice how that relaxes your face a little bit. Still strong work. 3, 2, 1. Well done. Pop your feet down. Release and relax in the belly so the back, again, just kind of sighs away from the mat. Good, so we're going to do that one more time, but this time we're just going to add a little bit of movement. So it'll be, one side will be long, the other side will be strongly contracted and short. So same start position. Pressing. Good, now we'll start with the right leg and the right arm extending. So keep pressure on the left leg with the hand and the leg onto the hands as you breathe in. Right arm up, right leg out. Exhale back where you came from. Press right hand and leg. Breathe in, left arm and left leg out. Come back and press. So switching sides, making sure that you're really pressing the hand and the thigh against each other as you stretch the other arm and leg out. Just one more. Well done. relax. Good. Breathing in, maybe stretch your legs out, arms up. Breathe out, perhaps with a sigh. Relax your arms by your side and bend the legs. So we'll do a nice little bridge just to ease and open. We're going to do what I call also a side bridge. We kind of roll over onto the outside of one shoulder while you're in bridge. Okay, so we'll do normal bridge first. Feet about hip width, heels probably about under your knees. Good. Arms by your side. Breathe in, both arms up, press into your feet, lifting up into your bridge. Little squeeze of the glutes and exhale, reverse that movement, rolling back down. And again, up. And down. One more up. This time just lower your arms as you breathe out. Take a huge inhale, hips float a little higher, and exhale, spread your shoulder blades as you release everything back down onto the mat. Good. So what we're going to do is, as we lift this time, I'll show you actually if you're not sure. You can press up into bridge, but you'll keep your right arm by your left arm by your side. You'll breathe in, you'll start to lift the right arm, but then you'll start to lean over onto the outside of your left arm and reach across with your other arm, looking at that, and exhale, come back down to the center again. You do that on the other side, so lean onto the outside of the right arm, reach diagonally over with your left, and then come back down. And then we'll do regular bridge in the middle, both arms up, and then both arms down. Okay, let's go for it. Good, so we're going to start by coming up, right arm lifts, you roll over towards the outside of your left shoulder, reach diagonally over with your right, exhale, come back down, come up on the other side, reach, come back down, come to the center, lift up, both arms, and come down, both arms. Let's do that once more on each side. So lean to the left, come up, lower down. As you lift, leaning to the right, reach as far as you can with your left arm, coming back down. Both arms up, breathe in, lift hips and spine. Both arms down, roll down through your spine. And relax, knees together, feet apart, hands onto the belly. Come back to that kind of softness where there was a minute ago you had lots of strength, remember, when you're pressing your legs. So nice soft belly here. Well done. So we're going to come up onto all fours. So you can make your way up to your hands and knees. We are going to be on the wrists a bit today, so let's just go through a little bit of a sequence to allow us to release any compression. The main thing is when you're on your hands, you do get a little bit of compression, so the arm bones come down into this joint here, and that's when it kind of squeezes in on itself. If you can press your hands into the floor, as if the floor was trying to come up towards you and you're pushing it away the whole time, that will help you keep a little bit of pressure away from the joint. You can also, little fleshy pads of your fingers, you can just lightly claw those into the mat. That pulls the work past the joint. Even so, you may feel you need to give your wrist a bit of love. So what we'll do is, we'll index finger and thumb, or whatever works for you, around the wrist joint, pulling as if you're trying to either create space here or stretch that area. Once you've done that, you kind of decompressed it a bit, so you've allowed space to come back to the joint, and then moving it round and round might give you a bit more relief. Okay, if you find it too much anytime, just back away and do those little movements. Also interlinking your hands, maybe behind you and bending forward. So as you go forward, the backs of the hands will be up-ish, so your palms are facing towards your body. So now you can see you're taking your wrists in the opposite direction than when you're on your hands on the mat. Good. Hands and knees. We're just going to find all the different areas of the spine. So as you breathe in, you're in neutral, this tabletop position. As you breathe out, lumbar spine, you'll just tuck your tailbone. Breathe in, then as you breathe out, let the middle of your spine, your thoracic spine, press up towards the sky. Then breathe in, and as you breathe out, draw your chin in towards your chest so your cervical spine is now rounding also. Good. Now we'll move as we breathe in. So you'll breathe in, lift the tailbone. Breathe out, you'll breathe in, relax the spine down towards the floor. Breathe out, and then you'll breathe in, lift the head. So you can see you've reversed that. Good. So let's breathe in here and then breathe out, whole spine curls up. Breathe in, tail, middle, neck. Breathe out, neck, middle, tail. Good. Breathe into neutral, and then bring your knees about 6 inches further forward and together. And do that movement again. So breathing in and breathing out. And notice that freedom of movement now through the spine. Feels much more fluid. Good, we do that one more time. Good, and then we'll sit on the heels and we'll go through that little wrist release. Sometimes it's nice to make a fist, so thumb to the base of the little finger and circle after you've decompressed your joint here. So circle in both directions, and up and down is quite a nice thing to do as well, a bit like you're riding a motorbike. Okay, so we're going to come to our first little challenge, all fours, knees about hip width, wrists more or less on the shoulders. See if you get your inner elbows to face each other. Start to press against the floor. Inhale like you were when you were lying down, so your belly swells. And exhale, lift the navel up to the spine and imagine it curling up behind your rib cage. Good. Take another breath in into your ribs. And then as you exhale, let the knees hover like there's a tiny piece of paper under them. We're going to take a few breaths here. Be careful not to sink into your wrists, so constantly lifting up out of your wrists, your shoulders. Try and keep your hips in line with your shoulders rather than your bottom lifting up. Good, release the knees, untuck the toes, sitting on the heels. This time bring the hands behind you and to lift the fingers and just bow down over your legs. Let your arms float up. If that's not enough, you can do that little wrist release in this forward position. Well done. Coming back up to all fours. Same deal. We're going to let the knees hover, but we're going to just gently walk, do little bear crawls. So little movements to the front of the mat and then to the back of the mat, just a couple of times. So firm up through the navel, pressing the floor away, lifting up out of your wrist joints. Tuck your toes, let the knees hover. Let's try and do opposite hand and foot. So you're trying to move without your bottom bobbing up and down. Good. Now come back to the centre and hover again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pop your knees down. And whatever you'd like to do with your wrists is fine by me. Good. Okay, so coming back to that position, we'll be on quite a bit today, all fours. So we're going to now move from a hover to, it's going to be like extended child's pose with the toes tucked, but the knees are still going to be off the mat. So we'll be here, we'll sit back, then we'll transition to downward dog, we'll sit down again, and we'll come back to that hover position. Okay, if you want to omit the hover here, just start with your knees down, and as you sit back towards your heels, let your knees peel up a bit, and then release into your downward dog position. Okay, we're just going to go back and forwards through those. So here we go. Firming up, navel to spine, think positive thoughts, and off we go. So knees hover. Start to sit back to your heels as if you're going to sit in extended child's pose, but your knees are hovering. And then extend your hips up and back to downward dog. Come back to that hover position. Child's pose with the knees up, and then back to your all four position, knees up. And again, back. So you're feeling this in the thighs a lot, but you're assisting everything from that core center. Good, let's just do one more. Back. Downward dog. Last knee hover, let's go for it. Coming back, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. This time, nice wide knees, big toes together as you sit back. Perhaps just onto your forearms. That's a nice little release for the thighs as well. And do that little, maybe they're waving their flags, your wrists. Help. Good. Okay, so guess what position we're going to now? Yay! No prizes, I'm afraid, but yes, you probably said hands and knees, which is right. So we're going to hover the knees again, and this time we're going to turn them side to side. So, all fours. If you find this a challenge, I'd like you to have a go at least doing one on each side. Just challenge yourself to do one on each side. And then you can come back to child's pose and rest. Proper child's pose, knees down, rather than our challenging child's pose. Okay, so usual support system in place, hands pressing, lifting out of the shoulders, navel to spine, breathing into the ribs as you release the knees. You're going to swing them to the left, come back to the centre. I'd like you to keep your shoulders square and your gaze between your hands. Coming back to the centre. Round to the left, knee centre, round to the right, knee centre, good. One more each side, to the left, to the right, to the centre, to hover for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, well done, pop your knees down, do your little wrist thing, your wrist jive, whatever that is for you. Jazz hands, maybe. Okay, so back to all fours again. So I'd like you to either repeat that, or you're going to shoot the underneath leg out. So when you twist your knees to the left, the right leg's going to shoot out to the left. It's going to hover off the floor. So the edge of your foot is going to be hovering off the floor. If you find that too much, touch it down. All right. Here we go. Hands and knees. No bumps-a-daisy. Well, it's okay. Bumps-a-daisy's allowed. Coming up to your knee hover position. Swing the knees to the left. Shoot the right leg out. Come back to your bent knee position. Both knees to the left, then back to the centre. Knees to the right. Shoot the left leg out. Come back to your bent knees, then back to the centre. And again, left, shoot, bend, centre. Right, shoot, bend, centre. One more each side. Left, shoot, bend, centre. Right, shoot, bend, centre. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touch them down. Full child's pose. And come back to the softness in the belly. I always like to sit up and chat to you rather than chat into the floor. So stay in your child's pose. So the breath may have shifted quite a bit actually. That's quite strong work for the body. Engaging big muscle groups. Asks the heart to do a little bit more work. So your heartbeat may be more noticeable. Well done. And then when you're ready, just make your way onto your tummy. And for a breath or two, just support your head on your hands. And notice how heavy your body is. So if you think Shavasana when we lie on our backs, have that same thought in your mind here, but you're lying on your tummy. You'll let everything kind of sink to the floor. All your organs are relaxing, your heart, your liver, your stomach, kidneys, adrenal glands, your lung, everything's just relaxing down. So we're just going to do some locust, up and down. So locust pose is a back strengthening pose. And we'll do it with the fingers pressing today. So we're going to sweep the arms back. You're going to make it like a crab hand with your fingers. Forehead on the floor and actively press your fingers down. Good. This time we'll work with the legs. So as you breathe in, lift both legs. Keep pressing through your fingers. Exhale, lower down. And do that 5 times, actively pressing down through your fingers the whole time. And you may be surprised to notice how light your legs feel. Good. One more. And then come back to the hands under the forehead. Relax. Everything's heavy again. Everything's relaxing towards the floor, the earth, whatever's beneath you. So you're going to do the same thing again. Same hand position, but we allow the upper body to join in. So as you breathe in, lift both ends, and breathe out, lower down. Keep those hands pressing, lift and lower, lift and lower. 2 more, up and down. Just 1, up and down. This time turn your head to the left and relax so your palms face up now. Your elbows are softly bending out to the side, shoulders relaxed. So just make sure you can see me. So I'm going to roll onto my left forearm. We're going to work with the variation of side plank. So forearm position, elbow position is quite important when you're supporting yourself here. And if you've got your arm too far away, it's going to hurt your shoulder. You can have it a little bit further forwards than directly under the shoulder if that's better for your shoulder joint. But the main thing is elbow more or less on the shoulder-ish. Pressing into the floor like we were with the hands earlier when we were making sure the wrist joints weren't getting too much squeeze, too much compression. So think of that here. If you need to, you can roll your mat over whatever you're on just to give your elbow a bit of extra padding. Now if you want to, you can keep the underneath leg bent and the top leg straight and back slightly, and you'll come up into your side plank here with this knee on the mat the whole time. So this is fine. Okay, otherwise both legs are straight, top leg is back behind the underneath leg. Good, and you lift up into your side plank, pressing through the underneath hip. The top knee will come into 90 degrees, same hand presses for 5, and off we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Save some energy to come out, and as your hip touches down, gently come up onto the hand of your supporting arm. And kind of go into banana mode here. Okay, let's do it again. So coming back down. Sometimes I need even more padding. I've got bony elbows. Good. So remember, underneath leg bent, fine. But whatever you are, the top leg is back slightly, even if you've got your leg bent and your knee down. So it's the side abdominals that are really doing the kind of job here. Everything else is working, but your side abdominals, your obliques are really having to support you in your transverse abdominis, transverse, side. So we're coming up. Good. Remember, the underneath knee can be down. If you're working more gently, bring the top leg in and make sure that this underneath hip is lifting the whole time as we press for 5. Try not to hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Have a little stretch. And then come back down onto your tummy and rest your head on your hands. And we just try and let go completely when we're here. We just let everything go. And then we come back up. And we move to the other side. So as long as you can see me, it doesn't matter if you're working left and I'm working right. You're doing the other side as opposed to the same side again. So lifting up and out, elbow on the shoulder, maybe a tiny bit further forwards. Keep this hand active, so really keep pressing this hand into the floor too. Underneath leg bent or straight, top leg back from the underneath leg. As you come up, so you can use the front hand to just support you as you lift, then bend the top leg, press for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, slowly return to the floor, come up onto your hand, banana mode. So this is where we just go into the, kind of sink down into everything in place. Good. Same thing again. Remember the underneath leg, I'll work with the leg bent. Your foot's back behind you if your knee's down. Good. So you'll come up, you draw the knee in, you'll actively press without holding your breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Lower down. Have a nice stretch. Then once again, come onto your tummy and turn your head to the right this time. Relax your arms down by your side. So take a few more breaths on your tummy and let everything be heavy. And then from the floor, we'll come up into Locust Pose, but we'll hold it this time. So we'll alternate the hands behind us, forehead down on the mat. And just get the idea of your pubic bone and your hips really pressing into the floor. Navel lifted up. Then as you inhale, you'll lift up. You'll stay up as you exhale. Inhale, lift a little higher, stay up. Inhale a little bit higher again. And then exhale, come down. Let's come into Sphinx, so repositioning your arms. So again, elbows are more or less under shoulders. We just want to check that we've got the arms in the right place for forearm plank. So if you swing your right hand to the front of your left foot, upper arm touching your bicep, and opposite arm to hand, hand to arm, then you're in the right place. What we're going to do here is do a side to side routine, I guess you call it. So we'll come up into either supported forearm plank or foot plank. You'll look where your right elbow is, and then you'll transition to your right hand in that place, and you'll come back down, and similarly left hand to where left elbow was. But what we're going to try our best to do is to avoid swaying from side to side. So really squeezing and contracting this area of the body. Back, side and front. There'll be a little bit of movement, but we're trying to avoid this kind of twisty thing going on. Okay, so I'm not trying to twist. So if you can also think about keeping your shoulders square with the front of the mat and looking down or slightly forward to the space between your hands. Again, you might want to pad your forearms and your elbows because we've already been on them a bit already. Okay. Here we go, I'm going to pad mine anyway. So from your Sphinx pose, tuck your toes, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, navel to spine, and then start to unpeel the pubic bone, the hips, the thighs, maybe onto the knees, maybe full posture. Good. Look where your left elbow is, and pop your left hand there. Then come back onto both forearms. Look where your right elbow is, and pop your right hand there. Good. So side to side. Doing your best to stay stable in the center. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A breath in forearm plank, knees down if they're up. Wave your way to the floor. Now from here we're going to turn the hands out slightly and use our hands to gently elevate the body. Navel to spine, tailbone long. Just letting the front body lengthen. Well done. And then when you're ready, lower your arms. Adjust your hands just forward of your shoulders. Press up to hands and knees. And straighten your mat out if it was bent over. And come back to child's pose. And I'll sit up to chat to you like I always do. So notice in child's pose you've got the chest and the thighs moving towards each other, the belly potentially pressing softly against the thighs. Or maybe you've got your knees a little apart and you're aware of the belly swelling into the space between the legs as you inhale and lifting back up as you exhale. Or maybe you're aware of the breath in the back of the body. So this body shape, this rounded body shape, really encourages the feel of the breath to be in the back of the body. Well done. So just do a couple of things from a seated position. So coming onto your mat. So if you'd like to have your mat side to side, because they're going to be on the knees, well not up on the knees, but the knees will be on the ground. So taking your hands behind you, your feet nice and wide, roll your knees to the right, and then you'll see you will want a 90-degree angle between both knees, both legs, and then over the heels and roll your knees to the left. So side to side, leaning on the hands as you do that. Good. Next time they go to the right, we're going to hang out there. And we're going to sit into a more of an upright position. We're going to go into a twist. So you can just bring the left hand to the outside of the right thigh and the right hand a bit further across. So you've got your body twisting towards the back long edge of your mat if you've twisted your mat around. And you're just going to observe here if you can feel your breath moving in the right rib cage or the left rib cage a little bit more obviously, or maybe it's just something you're aware of already. Then we'll come back, but not all the way forwards, just to the side, so we're looking at that front shin. Just going to check the back leg still at 90 degrees, and we're just going to do a little bowing action. So we'll bow down, so hands nice and wide, exhale, lift up, inhale, bow down, exhale, lift up, exhale. For a little bit more of a challenge, you can take your arms out in line with your shoulders, and bowing down, and lifting back up without the use of the hands. Just do that twice, so you can keep your hands on the floor if you wish. Well done. Bring your hands back down if they were up. We'll go to a little bit of a sneaky pigeon here. So start to walk that back foot a little bit further away. You can stay on the outside of your front hip, absolutely fine. If you want to go a little deeper, you square everything up at the short end of your mat. We're going to go to that bowing, 3 up and down movement. So you'll go down, exhale, inhale up, and then you'll stay down this time, maybe on your forearms, maybe forehead to the floor. I'd like you to try, without looking, to bring that back heel in line with the back of your leg. So you've got a nice stretch over that ankle. And then walk yourself back to your upright position. Hands behind you again. Rebend that back leg to 90 degrees. Come back up at your knees. Let them swing over to the left. Back to the right. And then over to the left where they'll stay. Good. 90-degree angle. Squaring up to the shin. And then turning your body towards that back thigh. So, opposite hand comes to the outside of that thigh. Supporting hand moves a little bit further across. Try not to lean over too much, think more upright so you get that nice release again around the hip. And then as you exhale, we come back to that half turn. So we haven't actually come forwards again, we're just facing that front shin. 90 degrees with that back leg. It it can kind of do its own thing sometimes, so just readjust it. Good. Hands nice and wide, maybe straddling the mat. Exhale as you bow down. Inhale as you lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. Inhale, lift. Option to move with the arms down, or you can continue to use your hands for 2 more. Good. And then we make our way back up. So we're back on the, oh no we don't, we go to pigeon. So let's go back, knees to the left. Good, stay on the outside of that front hip, start to stretch out the top leg a little bit. Staying here is fine, or you can come a little deeper, so you'll maybe lift up off the hip. Good, we'll bow down, exhale, come up as we inhale. 3 of those. And then we come down one more time and we stay down, whether you're on your forearms or all the way down, maybe forehead on the floor. Start to let gravity do its magic here. So let gravity really draw your body down, the weight of your body as well. And then coming onto the outside of that front hip, if you're not there already, both hands behind you, let the knees come up and heel toe the feet and the knees together. Good. So let's hold on to the feet. I seem to have accumulated a whole load of bits. Just hold on to the feet. And please don't worry about your heels being too close to your body. If you can't grab the feet, the shins is fine. We're just going to do a little bit of a butterfly wing action here. Then we'll stop, we'll breathe in and exhale, come forwards. We'll come back up, breathe in. Stay up as you breathe out. Just flap your little butterfly wings again. Or wave your knees, whatever chimes with you. Good. Exhale, come forwards. One more inhale, lift. Stay up as you exhale. Wave your knees or flap your wings. And calming forwards. So just kind of try and relax any holding here. It's quite tricky to do that. Particularly if you've got a strong sensation on the inner thighs, try not to fight that. So if it's talking to you, your initial response might be to grip and sort of hold, but that's just going to create more tension. So relax, maybe even consciously sigh your breath away. Well done. Come into your upright position, use your hands to bring your knees up, swing around and lay yourself slowly down onto your mat. We'll just do one more thing to refine our tummy muscles before we settle into relaxation. So we're going to start by bringing the left knee into the chest. Nice squeeze of that knee. Take a breath in as you breathe out, navel to spine. And again, just imagine that your navel, your belly button is stuck to your thigh. And as your navel draws down, your thigh stays closer to the chest as you relax your arms by your side. Then we're going to really work on that right leg by grounding it down. Press that straight leg down into the mat as you extend your left leg up. So you've got equal and opposite, but still strength in both legs. Pressing down with your right leg and pressing up through your left heel. Option to take both arms up by the ears. Breathing into the ribs. Now if this feels this is really easy, then I would suggest engaging your legs a bit more, so consciously pressing down through that right leg, pressing up through the left heel. Well done, relax. Fold your raised knee leg into your chest, hands to the shin or the thigh as you curl up. Nose towards the knee, then release yourself back down and change sides. So start with both legs straight. The right knee comes in, give it a squeeze, breathe in, breathe out, navel to spine. Imagine belly button stuck to thigh, so the thigh can't really lift that much as you release your hands. Ground down through your left leg before extending your right leg up as straight as you can. Good. Then option to lift both arms up by the ears. So you're kind of pressing away in a few directions. You're lengthening away through the left heel as well as pressing down through the leg. You're pressing up through the right heel but keeping the back of the right hip grounded, and you're reaching up through your fingertips but making sure the back ribs are still connected to your mat. Exhaling into the chest, hands to the shin, curling up. And then just take a moment to settle down into your mat. So I'm going to sit up to chat to you, but I'd like you to find your most comfortable place. So it could be arms and legs in a V shape, could be legs bent, feet wide, and then your knees gently come in and touch each other. You may spontaneously bring your hands to your tummy. Whatever works for you is fine. So take maybe 30 seconds just to settle into your most comfortable, relaxing place. Just to remind you, that can be also sitting in a chair. You can lie on your tummy, one knee up, you can lie on your side. Good. So once you've got all the kind of fidgety things out of the way, settle into stillness, but make sure you're letting go of any effort to control or regulate your breath. Allow your breath to make its own journey in and out of your body. Surrender the weight of your whole body fully and freely into the support of the floor. Nothing to do here, nowhere to be, just here and now in this moment. Feel free to pause the video and stay here for as long as you need. But when you're ready, begin to wake yourself up and be tender and gentle with your body.